Hey everybody, it's Mr. Fox Books and Custom Comic Strips coming to you live for another episode of Animation Imagination. The music I was playing is, well, according to the title, it's Pumpkin vs. Squash Man. Played by the band The New 11. They're a local group, local band, and they created a one-of-a-kind piece of music for our children's book app. Their link to their YouTube page is down in the descriptions below. Go ahead and check them out. They got some great music on their YouTube page, and soon to be more. They're working on getting more videos up. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, there's links in our description below for our websites. We have customcomicstrips.com. Go check it out. I don't think I've added the kids-only website. We have a kids-only website. I will put a link up later this afternoon, this evening, for the kids' website. On the kids' website, we have coloring book pages. Not a lot. It's still a work in progress. But we have some tutorial videos on how to draw. We have some what they call paper craft, or paper models that the kids can cut out and color and glue together. So yeah, I'll get a link up here shortly, and then you guys could go check it out. There's also a link to our children's book page, The House on Haunted Hollow. Pretty soon, we're going to be merging all of our children's book website pages into one MrFoxBooks.com website. That is still a work in progress as well. And I will be getting started on the design process of that next week. I can't show you guys here on Twitch because it requires me to log in to my provider, my not internet provider, but my host provider, and I don't want to risk giving any of that information out, so I will not be able to show you any of that process, unfortunately. But you guys will see me start a little bit later tonight on the Christmas children's book that we are working on. The story's already written, and now it's down to me creating the art. So this book will have, let's see, our last book had 45 or 46 pages. This book has 64, I think. I know, it's quite a bit, but if you're wondering, wow, that's a little too much for kids, I kindly disagree. I think that you don't have to read a book all in one sitting. You could always say, well, we're going to stop here and we're going to pick this up tomorrow night, or you can sit through it and read it all at once. And I don't feel like we should be contained in a box. I don't feel like we should be forced to do 25 pages or 20 pages. Now, that's not to say we won't have some shorter or smaller books, but for the Halloween and Christmas and any of the holiday, really just about any book. I told Dayton, our writer, I told him, I said, dude, I said, don't worry about the length and don't worry about trying to squeeze it into a certain many pages, because all you're going to do is confine your thinking inside of a box. You're going to start confining your creativity inside of a box, and instead what you need to do is just write and write and write and write. And what that'll do is just allow his creativity to run wild. And that's what you want. When you're brainstorming and you're coming up with ideas, you want your creativity to run wild. You want nothing shackling your creativity. Now, some people may not work that way, but that's how majority of creative people work. They don't want to be shackled into a certain closed box of thinking. Especially the most outwardly creative people. They need a lot of freedom to do their design work. And with that being said, a lot of freedom comes a lot of great quality work. So it's not like you're losing anything, especially if you're a client of the artist and you're like, well, I've got a certain vision and I have a certain vision in my head and this is how I picture it. Okay, well, that's great. But you've gone to the artist and hired that artist because of a couple of reasons. One, you like their art style. Don't ever go to an artist and say, I like what you do here, but can you do this other style? Can you do this, or can you do that? It's not going to work. Most artists, they can make it seem like that. art style, or they could try to mimic that art style, but it's just not going to look right. It's not going to look very good. So you never want to force somebody into an art style that they don't normally do on a day-to-day basis. So when picking out artists for any client work, any of your work, you always want to pick out artists that you've seen their work and you like their work, and you're not going to tell them you need to change how this character looks, you need to change that, you need to change that. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have any decisions on your story. You can't have any decisions on the brainstorming or anything like that. But once the art gets started, man, you just gotta let the artist run. Because if you let them run, you let them do the work that they need to do, they're gonna produce some really good quality work. Anyway, I don't know why I went on that rant, but I did. Must be a day for rants. Here next week as well, guys, I will be putting up a YouTube video doing a review on a 3D printer that I recently picked up. I actually have two right now. Unfortunately, the one that I got first does not print. And it's going to require a lot more work than it's worth, to be honest with you. Now, I knew going into 3D printing what I was getting into. I knew going into 3D printing what I was getting into with a make-it-yourself kit. I knew all that. What I didn't like is the false advertising that I got when I bought the first printer. Auto calibration, this, that, and the other, and it doesn't even do that. So I will show both. I will give the name of both companies, and I will let you know which one to stay away from. But yeah, I ended up taking a little bit of a break trying to figure out how to get that thing printing, because we were right in the process of finishing up our children's book, and I didn't have the time because I was creating art assets for the book app, and then we've got a second app for the children's book. I'm not gonna let you guys know yet. That's gonna be a surprise. It'll be coming up. Hopefully it'll be out before the end of Halloween, but the art assets for that is done as well. So I had to take some time to prepare art assets for two apps, and that didn't leave me a lot of time really to do anything. So long story short, I ended up buying a new 3D printer, and I will do a review on it, a very lengthy review, show you some of the prints. Now, when I hold the prints up to the camera, it's not going to detail the quality very well, so I may have to use my DSLR and shoot the video through that to show quality. And what I'll do is do a print with a time lapse, and that way you guys can see how it operates, how it prints. And we'll just talk about the 3D printers. We'll talk about the 3D printer that I bought and am currently using. Let me just say this: as of right now, I am extremely happy with the quality. So much so that the plan is to buy two more 3D printers of the same model. So the second one will come a lot sooner than the third and last one, but yeah, that's the plan. And some of you are probably wondering, 3 3D printers, why do you need 3? Well, unfortunately, I'll say this, and I'll save the rest for the review. The downside to this printer, if you want to use it right out of the box without having to use any other open source software, you are very limited to how many objects you can place on the print bed. So if you are doing a high-res print, you are looking at roughly anywhere from, could be an hour, could be 3 hours, could be 6, could be even up to 12, 14 hours. So that's why I'm getting another 2 more printers, so that way if I am doing a very lengthy print process on a part or printing off whatever, I don't have to wait 10 or 12 hours for that print to be done. I can start printing other stuff. So no, I'm not rich. No, I'm not moderately. I'm not anything. I work hard for my money, guys, and that's how I come across my stuff. We don't go out to movies. My wife and I are pretty much homebodies. I've got everything I want in this world here at the house. Now, occasionally we'll go out to a movie, or occasionally we'll go out to dinner, or we'll go do this or go do that, and that's meant to be a treat. It's not. I had a different mindset when I was younger. To me, it was like, yeah, if I got the money, I'm going to go out to this restaurant, I'm going to go out to that restaurant, and I guess that's fine when you're single, or I guess that's fine when you're younger, but when you get older and you've got responsibilities like house and kids and everything else, things change, and you got to be open and accepting of that change, or else you're going to be broke and up to your ears in debt. So, but anyway, we don't go out much, and for us not going out allows us to buy more things to put in our house. So, we don't go out. I save up money that I've made, or that we've made. I try to use the money that I made through the business, since I'm primarily using a lot of this equipment for business use. And I buy it because we're not worried about what movie we're going to see this week, or that next week, or this, that, and the other. So, not that I don't like movies, guys. Actually, the plan is the amount of money that my wife and I have saved over the years by not going to movies, not going to see movies. Now, I know it's kind of, some of you are probably like, well, then you're not supporting the movie industry, or blah blah blah. Well, no, we buy movies on Blu-ray or whatever, the ones we want to see. But so we're going to probably end up installing a drop-down screen, projector screen, when we turn the garage into a new living room. And it's going to be one of those electric screens that come down, and going to have a decent projector. It's going to be nice. Nice little home theater. So that's another way to think about it. All the money that you spend going to the movies, you could just save up and buy a projector and a projector screen, and buy the movies as they come out. You're set. You could have all the popcorn and pop you want at your house. Save a lot of money. Yeah, of course, and occasionally go out and watch a movie at the theater just to support the movies that you really support, but yeah. But that's usually what we do. So when I show you guys in the videos, or when I show us using this equipment or that equipment, guys, I myself have worked extremely hard to get where I'm at today. And instead of wasting my money, I put it right back into the business. So that way our business is continuously growing, as opposed to struggling to find a way to pay for this piece of software or this piece of hardware. And, you know, I know how tempting it is. You know, the money comes in, you're just like, oh man, I could buy this and I can buy that. But you just got to be patient and you got to work and you just got to push all that, I want to buy this or I want to buy that, all that personal purchasing stuff out of the way and just say, okay, what do I need to buy? What do we need? Not want. There's a difference between needing and wanting something, right? If you want something, doesn't necessarily mean you need it. But if you need something, you need it. So, I usually just get stuff that we need. And any of the want stuff usually waits. So... Oop. Okay, enough with the side tangent rant thing that I went on there. Let's talk about this animation. So last night, as I was ending the video, I was in Sketchbook Pro 7 and using Sketchbook Pro 7 to do all the basic animation roughs for this animation software. And as I was working on this animation, I realized that it's not staying as consistent as I would like it to be. And I don't know if it was just because I was being distracted, trying to show you guys the process or what, but let me just kind of show you. Now, some of you might be like, why, I don't see what the big deal is. So if you watch, his face, or the character's face, starts squashing, right? And that could be fine, like, because he's sucking in air, and he's sucking in so much air that maybe his face is drawing back quite a bit. But I don't know if I necessarily like that. If you look at the mustache starts to get a little bit smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Things were starting to get a little bit crazy. So I ended up not using this. I do use it for smaller animations, for shorter animations, but I decided to really just dive deep into this animation software. And you can see there's already a huge improvement. The nose does alter a little bit. I do see it altering, but that'll be fixed when I do the finals. Right now we're just trying to get the basic movement and the basic shapes in. So, as long as it doesn't move too much, or doesn't morph or change shape too much, then we'll be alright. So, okay. So what I'm doing right now is just filling in these extra lines here. Sometimes when you see some line test or pencil test in animation, sometimes they're only going to animate the mouth or certain areas, or they'll show like the character, and then all of a sudden the character disappears, and all you see is like all you only see is the parts moving, and that's I think from what I've read. That's to help the artist just focus on what is moving and what's not. And it's also to speed up the whole pencil test process as well. From what I've read, I could be wrong. Like I said, I am not a skilled 2D animator. I have not been properly taught in that field. I am self-taught in everything that I've done, so If there is any animators out there that do watch that would like to chime in, if I missed something or if you guys would like to comment on anything, feel free. I'm sure the other viewers that want or need the information would love to have the right information. So, and I would much rather be able to give it to them either by Googling it or just pointing them in the right direction, or if somebody's answering questions. So. So what do you guys think of the music that local band has created for us? I love it. I think it's great. I can listen to it non-stop. Day in and day out. They do some really cool covers, and they do some really cool one-of-a-kind stuff. So go check out their YouTube page. They get some really cool videos. I think a lot of you guys will enjoy it. We all had a awesome, fun experience working on that children's book app together. So it's been a great experience, and we hope that any and all future projects we can use these guys, because they play some great music. Definitely the kind of music that we're looking for anyway. Stuff that is very unique, very one of a kind. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat. If you don't want to ask them in the chat, and it's a little bit more, a little bit more private, or maybe you just don't want to ask it in the chat, you can always contact us at our email, which is info at customcomicstrips.com. Or you can reach us at you can reach us at info at mrfoxbooks.com. And I believe we have one for the House on Haunted Hollow, which is info at. I'll have to look that one up. Don't quote me on that one. But you can at least ask the questions at info at mrfoxbooks.com or info at customcomicstrips.com. I've answered quite a few questions. There's been other artists from other countries that wanted some advice on what they should charge a local newspaper, all the way up to what should they be charging this client to do this. And you know what, most people would be like, you're crazy, you're giving away your trade secrets and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, I guess I see where you're coming from on that, but on my view of it is this whole world would get along a lot better if we would just help each other out. I don't look at people as competition. I look at people as a fun experience. What fun, cool things am I going to learn today from this person? What new things am I going to be experiencing talking to this person, bouncing ideas off this person? What kind of creative places am I going to go to? Just all kinds of fun stuff. So that's what I look at. If it's somebody in another country, especially in another country, it's like, yeah, of course I'm going to help. I mean, if somebody's if you got a question, you shouldn't feel like it's a dumb question. There should be people out there that are willing to answer the questions. And guess what? I am one of those people. I've been in that position as an artist, as a person, just in general. Like, I've been put in that position numerous times where I honestly didn't know what was going on. And I would ask the question, and I would just be made to feel like I was an idiot. And Nobody should ever feel that way. Nobody should ever have to feel that way. Nobody should feel like they can't ask any question. So, if you guys have any questions throughout this whole process, feel free to ask. If I don't know the answer, I will do my best to point you in the right direction. Because I am not ever going to say that I'm this genius that knows everything. I will never know everything. Even on my deathbed, there will be many, 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 many things when it comes to art, and just art. We're not talking about how the world works or the universe or anything like that, but just art. There's so many things with art that I will never know. So, but I'm willing to learn. And as long as you're willing to learn when you ask these questions, then that's pretty much the only stipulation that I've got. Is keep an open mind. Be open-minded when you're getting the answers. And if you don't like the answer, well, try to make it work. Try to prove the world wrong. You know, if they say it can't be done, show them that it can be done. When I was growing up, when I was in high school, I went to a vocational school for my last 2 years of high school. And I went and took commercial design, which is graphic design to you guys. And part of it was so that way I could get college credit. So I got 2 years of college credit. And I got a jump start on being... Well, I thought I wanted to be a graphic designer. I thought I wanted to go down that route, creating logos and stuff. And for a time, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I don't want to go down that road again. Creating logos and creating stuff like that is just does not excite me anymore. What excites me is stuff that makes you guys laugh, makes you guys feel inspired. I want to do stuff that most people aren't doing. So anyway, my last 2 years of high school at the vocational school, I was always pushing the teachers' buttons, and not in a bad way, but I was always pushing their buttons because they were always telling me, you really should do it this way, and you really should do it that way. And I listened. Not every time, because I was young and stupid. And I was very closed-minded as well. When it came to art, anyway. So I didn't listen much like I should have. I did listen enough. I did carry on a lot of great teachings. But the one thing that I wanted to show the teachers was that things can be done. Just because they've never seen how to do it, or just because things have never been done a certain way, I wanted to show them that it can be done. And there was many times where they had asked me to prove it, and I did. Took me a lot longer. Took me a lot longer than what it normally would have done if I would have followed their instructions, but quality was good. Quality is really good. So I always pushed buttons in that manner. Even to this day, when somebody tells me it can't be done, I tell them it can. Let's find a way it can be done. Just like with our children's book app, there was many hurdles that we had gone through. And Chappie, Chris Chapman, the guy that did the coding, the software engineer that did our coding, there's times where he would say, I don't know if this can be done, I don't think this can be done. And we would sit and we would talk about it, and we would try to figure out a way it could be done. Mainly he did most of that by fooling around with the code and making it work. But what I'm getting at is the mentality that I brought to that whole process, which is, it can be done. Let's figure it out. A lot of you may disagree, and that's fine. You may think that there's a lot of things in this world that just can't be done, and I would disagree. And we're each entitled to our own opinion, but in my opinion, I think it can be done. It's just a matter of time and technology and knowledge. If it can't be done right now, it's because we don't have the knowledge or the technology to do it. But let's say let's move forward 100 years. Will we have the technology in 100 years? Maybe. If you look at where we've come in 100 years as, well, here in the United States, but as the world in general, if you look at where we've come from in the past 100 years, what was invented 100 years ago, what we utilize today, there's a lot of great things that were created over these 100 years, and there's a lot of advancement. I mean, you even look at the 80s. Look at when cell phones were the size of a brick, and video games were 8-bit, then 16-bit, then 32-bit, right? They weren't even high def. And if you go to Atari 2600, they were even lower than... Well, no, I think Atari 2600 might have been 8-bit, but they didn't... I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah, I mean, it's anything. I think anything can be done. It's just a matter of time and knowledge, guys, and patience. A large part of it's probably patience, too, if you think about it. So, I'm not going to keep going on that tangent, but what I'm saying is ask your questions, keep an open mind, and we will try to find the answers together. So if I don't know it, I will definitely help you guys out and point you in the right direction. So there's a couple things that we're going to get into with this animation process, and the look I'm gonna try to achieve with this animation is I want it very clean looking. So sometimes with frame by frame, you'll notice that things are kind of a little off, and part of that has to do with the frame by frame and not staying consistent between drawing and each drawing. So okay, we'll go back to drawing mode, so that way it turns the backgrounds off. It's hard to draw when you got that background back there and trying to pay attention to everything else. Nose alters quite a bit right there. So you see how these lines kind of have a life of their own and they're moving. Now he's breathing in, the pillow's going to move a little bit, ever so slightly. His head's going to come back. So your character's breathing in, the chest cavity fills it with air, your head kind of goes back a little bit more when you're breathing in. And you breathe out, and your head kind of comes forward. So this little bit of movement is okay. I will wait till we get in and start doing, I'll do it like one pass in the pencil test here and see if I like it, if it looks fine, and if it doesn't, then I'll show you a little trick that they use nowadays. But we won't get to it tonight. There's a lot of animation to do. on this project. So I hope you guys enjoy watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, I just said that. I hope you guys stick with it through the whole process. I'm not expecting you guys to watch every episode, but you can always check them out on YouTube, our YouTube channel, if you miss any. But yeah, I hope you guys get a chance to watch every single one of them, because from this process to the finished process, when you guys see the final, you're gonna be like, wow, that's awesome. And I just want you guys, especially any of you aspiring animators out there, just want you guys to be able to see what can be done when you take your time, when you do things right. Not to say that my way is the right way, it's not, but being patient and taking my time and making sure the quality is the best that I can do, that's the right way. So any of you guys check out the children's book app yet? If you have, I'd love to hear your feedback on what you thought of it. I already know how my 4-year-old and 2-year-old enjoy it, and I also know how some of my other friends' families and their family and their friends, we've got quite a few, but it's always good to hear people that aren't so close to us tell us what they think of it, of the book. But so far, all the kids love it, and that's what counts. To us, that's what counts. I do have a lot of parents that ask, though, because in the book, they always wonder, how do the kids get back to the house? And it's funny, because I never, ever have had a kid ask me how they made it back to the house. Because at the end, I'm not going to give anything away, but at the end, it's set up a certain way to make you kind of wonder what really happened. And the reason why kids don't ask what happened is because they're already using their imagination. And as adults, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I guess society expects us that when we get older that we should stop using our imagination. And yeah, I think that's craziness. So that, or, well, I shouldn't say, well, yeah, it's part of it, and then part of the fact that, we just kind of have to deal with bills and this, that, and the other. It's hard to get into that mindset of thinking anyway. But so anyway, the kids never ask. They've already got it figured out in their head, and they're just excited to hear somebody read the story, and they're excited to see the images, and they're just, oh man, they're just loving the story. But it's funny, almost every single parent that's read the book, they're like, how did the kids make it back? And I always tell the parents, I say, for one, the book's not written for parents. It's written for kids. And two, it's meant to inspire the kids to use their imagination. It's meant for them to come up with a story and think about how they made it back. And it also leaves it open for us to do a sequel if the demand is there and if we want to do a sequel. So there's a lot going on there. It's not just throwing words on a page and hoping that it's going to be a great literary piece. And not to say that our piece is a great literary piece. I think it is, but I'm not going to sit here and say that though. That you should buy it because it is. I enjoy it. My kids enjoy it. That's what counts. But really good books are well thought out. And the one thing that I've noticed as I mentor other artists that we bring in to work on custom comic strips is to always work through any of the stuff that they're having problems with, or just to work through an illustration. I have seen so many portfolios where artists start a illustration, and trust me guys, I'm just as guilty, not as much today, but I was just as guilty in the past as any of them. But I see so many portfolios where there's so many unfinished pieces, and it's not good, guys. You need to have finished work in your portfolios. And the reason for that is how am I going to know you're going to finish a client job if you can't finish your own stuff? If you have a client job that comes in and you have a 4-panel comic strip and you're working on that comic for that client, how am I going to know if you're going to finish that job if you can't finish your own work? And most artists enjoy working on their own work more than they do working on client work. So if you can't finish your own work, how am I going to know you're going to be able to handle the client work that is given to you? I can't. So, I mean, that's not a make or break with when we do interviews and stuff like that, but it is something I look at. It's something that I know I need to focus on and talk with the artist about and mentor them and get them thinking in the right mindset of, oh, I need to make sure I finish my work. Even if it's a sketch or a doodle. If it's a sketch or a doodle, finish it out. Complete it. Don't leave it uncompleted. I'm getting a phone call real quick. It's my wife. She's getting off work, guys. So I will be right back with you. I'm gonna answer the phone, and I will be right back with you guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. Only for a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like, look at the ear. Look at the ear right here. Look at the mustache. See how it's changing? And this is just... this is the nature of frame by frame. Usually what will happen is you'll skip a frame. You'll have a couple blank frames in between. I'm doing frame by frame by frame just so that way it looks the best. It looks the smoothest. Like I said, a lot of that will be fixed in the final. This is just a pencil test to make sure that timing and positioning are correct. So once I get the pencil test done, we'll move into ink and color. So cool. Let's see, guys. I think I'll be back later. If I don't make it back on, definitely will be Thursday. Tomorrow I have to mow grass and do some chores around the house. So I will be back later. I'm gonna go up, say hi to my wife, and eat dinner. I will talk to you guys later. See ya.